What's up, guys? Welcome back to Psychopath Exposure. My name is Kita, and today I wanted to make a video that, funny enough, yesterday I hinted about making. It was called Satire. I wasn't actually going to make it, but I did hint about making a video on how to survive within a narcissistic relationship, like how to make it work, how to fix the narcissist, how to be happy in a toxic relationship like that. Clearly, you guys know that I don't believe that you can make something like that work, at least not in a healthy way. But believe it or not, I got a handful of emails asking me to please, like, show me how to make this work. Yes. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this for a second. Because I know the holidays are just around the corner and we're all scrambling. We've got a lot of trauma heading into the holiday season. We've got, we're going to run in probably with family that can trigger us and push our buttons. If you're still entangled, if you're still married to a toxic person, to your narcissist, you know how things are going to go. And if you were discarded this year, recently, or last year, you have all sorts of memories, and these days can get kind of hectic. But again, if you're still in it, if you're still entangled with these people, and you're wondering, how can we make this work? Is there a way? Is there a chance? Is there hope? Can my situation be like that once in a blue moon situation where it actually works? Can we find success? Can we coexist together? And to that, I'm just going to share very briefly a part of my story from last year. At the time of uploading this video, I would say this coming weekend will be the 1-year anniversary of when my intuition led me to discovering the name and the face and the location and all the information I needed to know about the man that my ex was cheating on me with behind my back. It was this weekend coming. And it's an intuition that I am sure all of you have felt, because it's born out of anxiety that's caused by your abuser, is born by the uncanniness and the excuses they give you, their changes of behavior. Maybe you've already caught them being an infidel, and they tell you that that person's already gone, that they're done with that, and that you're the only one in their life, and blah, 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 blah. And it's not true. Because if it were true, they would be behaving in a different manner. Their behavior wouldn't trigger all these feelings of anxiety, of impending doom, of mistrust. Remember, like I say all the time, once you've been betrayed, you can't, pretty much, at least not in my experience, you can't ever trust a toxic person like that. You can never trust a traitor. They're a traitor. That's what they do. So thinking that, like, if you get into a relationship, for example, and you guys met and they were married, and you got, they had an affair with you, right? They cheated. That's how things started. What makes you think that if you guys get together and get married, that they won't cheat on you? Like, that, the very first thing that you got to know about this person was that they're untrustworthy and they're cheaters, right? So going into it like that already, you probably already have something in the back of your mind, like, hey, am I really that special? They're not going to cheat on me, but they cheated on them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So imagine catching your narcissist or whatever personality disorder your abuser has, and you have that intuition. And the intuition, like, if you're like me, if you're a detective, you're going to get to the bottom line, and you're not going to sleep until you get all the answers. And I know a lot of you are like that too, but we also know that at times we're scared to discover the truth. You know how the saying goes, be careful what you look for, because you just might find it. You just might find it. So there's, you know how people say there's two types of people in this world, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to use that. You know, there's on one hand, we've got the people, they take the blue pill. They rather not know. Just, they stay in Wonderland, right? Like in the Matrix, just believe whatever they tell them, whatever the media says, whatever the government says, whatever their cheating, lying narcissist says. They just want to be happy and they don't care to know. And then you got people, the red pillars, right? They just want to know the truth, even if it destroys everything. It's like if you were to go back in time to when you were a kid, and you discovered that Santa Claus wasn't real, and that illusion died. When that illusion died, Christmas was never the same. Okay? As an adult, you try to relive those memories with the cookies and the presents and family, but it's just never the same. That feeling that you had when you were an innocent child and you actually believed that there was Santa Claus flying around in his sled with his reindeer and that you were going to wake up to all these toys. And once that dream was dead and you discovered that it was farce, it was a story, kind of sucked. It broke your heart, So depending on what type of person you are, you may either follow that trail of intuition that's going to lead you into all the answers that you've been looking for, or you're going to turn a blind eye. You're going to ignore all the signs that God or the universe keeps sending you. And one day you're going to ask yourself, like, how the heck did I end up here? Like, I didn't see this coming. Well, you probably did. You just chose to turn the other cheek. So I like to go after the truth. If my gut is screaming at me, especially after what I went through with a psychopath many years ago, and I refused to trust my gut reaction, my instincts. I knew they were lying. I knew it. I would tell my mentor all the time, I was like, I fucking knew it. And he was like, you were scammed. It's like 50% you knew it, but 50% you weren't sure because of the gaslighting, because of the cognitive dissonance. And I was like, no, but I knew it. My stomach, my intuition. He's like, yes, but you were scammed. Part of you thought there was something wrong, but another part of you wanted to believe them because we want to believe them. We don't want to believe that our person is actually a liar and a cheater. We don't want to believe that. We don't want to believe that we're dating a monster. We don't want to believe it. Why would you want to believe that? It kills your dream. Santa Claus is dead, right? It kills it. So I digress. I know I go on long tangents. But yeah, it's like my intuition just led me into just doing a little research that night. And based on the information I had already collected from our conversations and little things that she had said, I was able to line them up. And I was like, that's the guy. And it's, you guys know how horrible it feels when you finally put a face to the perpetrator, right? Now there's a face, there's a physical body. Now you start picturing them, right, in your bed or wherever the heck they were cheating on you with, doing things. Now you start getting those visuals, and those visuals hurt and they sting, and you just can't shut them off. You can't shut those things off. I mean, that's really when your meditation skills have to be on point for you to catch yourself. You got to be a brain ninja and catch yourself and be like, hey, hold on a second. Like, thinking about my cheating ex and that other person, that's not serving me right now, right? You need to catch that and put it down and let that shit go right back into the cosmos where it came from. But, when those things happen, we're only human. Those things happen, our emotions get rattled up, and that's it. You can't get it out of your head. And I'm telling you the story because, like many of you, knowing what we already know, we still don't want to admit that that's it. Like, this is finally over, especially with Christmas around the corner, especially with all the gifts and presents that I had bought. And I had to sit there and wrap them because I did not want to destroy Christmas. I did not want to tell my parents Christmas is canceled because my ex is a fucking liar and she's been cheating on me with this person. Let me show you. You want to see the person she's cheating on me with? Bam. I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to traumatize myself for Christmas. So we went, even though the confrontation happened, we went through with the plans. And on a superficial level, it was cool. But deep inside, you guys know. Deep inside, you know that was just messed up. It was all sorts of wrong. It just wasn't pretty. So, if you guys are struggling with the holidays coming, if these moments, even Thanksgiving that just passed, if these moments trigger you, I want you to know it's okay. This is what happens. These are the things that happen when you're dealing with someone that has a personality disorder like this, where they're like, they don't care. Like, they don't care who they hurt. They know that doing the things that they're doing, if they were to get caught, it's going to crush their partner and scar them for a very long time, and they don't care. They do it anyway. Borderline personality, so people with borderline personality disorder, okay, they'll do shit spontaneously. Narcissists too, spontaneously. It's like this big mood swing that they just have, and they'll just justify themselves and tell them, you know what, I'm going to do this anyway because 2 years ago this person did this, and you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this anyway. Whatever happens, happens, and they don't even think about the consequences. They just boom, and they do it. I remember one of the last things my ex told me, one of the last time we spoke on the phone, I remember she told me that she realized she was a horrible person. She was a horrible person, and she needed time alone to work on herself. She needed space. I didn't believe a word of it. The only thing that was true out of that conversation was that she was a horrible person. Because a horrible person knows that they're about to cause damage, irreparable damage to a certain extent. And they go through with the plans. Like I always say, cheating is not a mistake. It was planned. You didn't just trip and fall on the person's penis, okay? It was planned. Okay? And that was the only thing that was true because she kept doing her thing, You guys know how that story goes because you've all lived it. Like I said, if I had a nickel for the times you guys tell me, especially in my coaching program, and you guys tell me, and you're telling me my same story. So that's why when I tell you, clips of my story, they're like, yes, that's exactly what happened. I'm like, yeah, how do you know? Well, because it happened to me. Because my ex did the same thing. Because that's what these people do. That's what people with this disorder do. And you know what, like, guys, I don't run a psychology university here. My mission, as you know, is to work with the survivors to get us to fight back against the abuser, to take back control of our life, to stand up for ourselves, to stand up and no longer take that abuse, to call it out, to realize that our intuition is right, our gut instinct is correct. God is revealing to us what we need to see. We're just afraid. We're afraid to acknowledge it because we're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of throwing away a 20-year relationship or a marriage. We're afraid of throwing that away at the discovery that your partner broke their vows, that they were infidels. We're afraid. It hurts to know that it's a deal breaker and now you gotta go through with it. Or you don't go through with it. Like the people in my inbox asking me, hey, can we still make this work? And it's like, deep inside, I know you want to make it work because of the longevity, because of the trauma bond that you have, that you're addicted to this person, and even though they just crushed you and ruined everything, you still want them. You still want them. But logically, you know that that's a bad idea. Logically, you know, if you weren't trauma bonded like this, if you didn't have all this time invested, if your mind wasn't warped and compromised with all the fog and the abuse and the manipulation and the gaslighting and the cognitive dissonance, this is not something you would sign up for. This is not something you would sign up for. The only reason we want to stay with this person, the only reason we miss our abuser, the only reason is because of the psychological work that they've done to our minds that have warped our perception of reality. Okay, it has damaged the circuitry in her minds to be able to connect things properly and be like, hey, no, wait a second. Your story doesn't add up. How does this make sense? Hey, excuse me, wait a second. Why would this person be knocking on your door drunk at 3 a.m. if he's just someone you just met? Like, how does he even know where you live? What did you do to that person to make them go crazy to have to like break your door down at 3 a.m? How did you hurt this person? Obviously, they were together. Obviously, maybe that person discovered, oh my God, like you have a girlfriend or you have a boyfriend. You've been lying, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't just do crazy things like that unless they've been baited or triggered. But God forbid you tell your abuser, say, wait, your story doesn't make sense. Explain this to me, because that's when the tantrum comes out. That's when they scream at you, what? Are you accusing me? Are you? Yes, damn right. Damn right. We're accusing you. That's what I want you guys to understand. And that's the type of power that I want you guys to develop here in this community, to be able to call out bullshit when you fucking see it. What do you have to lose? You already lost the relationship. They were already an infidel. You will never trust them again. At that point, what do you have to lose if you don't stand up for yourself like that? You're going to lose yourself. You're going to lose yourself. So do you really think that knowing what you now know, knowing what you've discovered, do you really think that you can coexist and you can make that toxic relationship work? Well, what have I told you? That it's up to you and the level of boundaries and acceptance and self-worth that you have. Because, hey, if you're okay being in a so-called toxic, narcissistic, abusive relationship, if you're okay with that type of, with those types of dynamics, if you're okay with it, who am I to tell you, hey, that's not for you, get out? Like, if that's what you want, if you feel that it resonates with you, that type of abuse resonates with you, go ahead. You know, we all have free will. We all have free will. But no, I'm not going to tell you that, from my point of view, that's a healthy decision, especially if you're in this community, if you're suffering and you're trying to discover why you have all this anxiety, why you're losing your mind, why your partner is doing the things that they're doing. That tells me that you're unhappy. That tells me that that situation, that person is not a good fit for you. Putting all personality disorders aside, if what you're looking for in a relationship is trust, honesty, communication, safety, consistency, stability, you're not going to find it with a narcissist, with a psychopath, with a borderline, any of the cluster B umbrella. You're not going to find it. The only consistency you're going to get are the red flags. That's the consistency. You will get that. You will see that. Don't fool yourself into thinking that, like in the history of toxic relationships, where things end in a predictable fashion. Don't think that your case is going to be special. Don't think that your narcissist is going to change. Don't think that all of a sudden they're going to have an awakening and they're going to treat you with the love, kindness, and respect that you deserve, because if they're incapable of doing that, it's like that show Dexter. He tries to fit in, but he's incapable of genuinely portraying those emotions. And that's why when he gets confronted, he looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous because it's uncanny. It's uncanny, and you see right through it. If you haven't checked out that show, check it out. It's about a psychopath that worked in forensics, and he tries to fit in with society. He tries to keep his dark passenger in check. It's a romanticized show, of course, because Hollywood loves to romanticize psychopaths. And I had someone tell me that they're fascinated with psychopaths and Joker and those type of people. And it's like, yeah, I get it. It's cool. It is interesting. And when you're a kid, those things are fantastic because your brain hasn't matured or developed enough to understand the psychopathy, the real psychopathy behind that. Once you do, you'll never be able to watch a horror movie the same. You'll never be able to drive down an avenue where you feel like that toxic energy all around you. Like you'll see it and you'll feel uncomfortable, and something will be telling you, get the hell out of here, go home, you don't belong here. And that's a similar feeling to what we feel when we're in bed with our narcissist partners. Something's wrong. There's something wrong here. Like you feel it. You feel it in the pit of your stomach. It's not right. Especially when you've reached that devaluation, discard phase, when you can see it in their eyes that they're thinking of someone else. They're super, super stressed all of a sudden. Like their stress level is through the roof. You know why they're so stressed? It's not because of their job. It's not because of their kid. It's not because of their school. They had all that before, and they were managing just fine. You know what the stress is? The added stress of having to live a double life. They are worried that the new supply may call or text them at the appropriate moment, that you're cuddling with them, looking over their shoulder, and they're on their phone, and that notification pops up. I remember my ex would show me something on her phone, and I would see all these notifications, Snapchat, Instagram, all these things on the top, but she wouldn't check them. They would just they were there, and my heart would start rapidly beating, because I knew that if I would have said, hey, hold on a second, I knew that if I just would have asked, pull down, swipe down, let me see who that is, which I had every right to do, I knew that had I done that, I was going to see something I didn't want to see. So we look the other way, because we don't want to destroy the good memory, the good time. You don't want to destroy the moment. But it ends up destroying you, doesn't it? It ends up destroying you. The truth has a way of always coming out. The truth will always surface. Whether you turn your cheek or not, at some point, it's going to be right in front of you. And it's going to be really, really bad. If it didn't get your attention before when it was easy, it's going to get your attention when it's really, really hard. That's why I tell you guys all the time, like, terminate this relationship, exit, plan your exit strategy now when it's easy. You think it's hard now? Wait 6 more months. Give it another shot, like some of you told me. I want to give it one more shot. Okay. I tried giving things one more shot. It only got, it didn't like double in toxicity, it like tripled. It tripled to the point that there was just no way to even have an amicable final closure conversation. It's like you just can't. You have to just cut that like just straight down the line, like from this moment to the next. Like there ain't no going back. It's like the Berlin Wall just got put up. If you were on the other side, bye-bye. You're never coming back. It's got to be some drastic thing like that, because just having a conversation is going to send you spiraling back to those feelings of betrayal that you experience, having to look at your abuser in the eye. And I don't know sometimes what's worse, looking them in the eye and seeing nothing and seeing an empty abyss like a psychopath, or actually seeing someone that God knows what disorder they have, but they exhibit narcissistic traits, and they're sobbing. They're clearly hurt at what they've done. They know they've hurt you, but they couldn't stop themselves from doing it. And they know things are fucked, right? And they still have the audacity to like promising you that they're gonna fix it, and that please give me another chance, I'll make it better. No, you can't make it better when you've been cheating for a year and a half. Like some of you have told me that it's been like 5 years that there was an affair, or they were still married. They told you they were divorced, and you were together for a few years later after that, and they were, divorce papers weren't even signed, or the process hadn't even started, and they were just BSing you. How does that feel when you discover that, right? How can that person sit there and look you in the eye after you've caught them red-handed, and sometimes deny the whole thing? Because that's the interesting part about these monsters, that they're such pathological liars that you can be waving all the evidence in their face and telling me, hey, I'm gonna give you a chance just for the sake of diplomacy. Just come clean. Just be honest and tell me everything exactly how it is, because let me warn you, I already know exactly how it is. Like that's what I did. Like I already know how it is, I in detail. I want you to tell me before I tell you. Go. And they'll sit there and deny it. They'll sit there and deny it. They'll fabricate a story. They're so delusional that they still believe that maybe they can get away with it, or maybe your facts are skewed, and they'll tell you something that doesn't make sense, so it doesn't align with your story, and you'll hold on to it, and you'll be like, oh shit, maybe I was wrong. Yeah, you're right. And some of them are such master manipulators. Like when you're being gaslighted, the reason gaslighting works is because, truth has to be 100%. At least for me, 100%. If you tell me 99% truth and 1% is a lie, you're a liar. That's how is that. That's not the truth. So a narcissist gives you fragments, right? A lot of truths, and then there's fragments in there that are lies and cover-ups and things that don't make sense, that don't align. And then they're able to take those fragments and move them around, so that puzzle keeps changing. Just when you start figuring it out, they pull that fragment, that compromised fragment, and they stick it somewhere else. And they create this big mess in your mind. But when things don't align like that, and you're calling them out on everything, but there's one thing that you get wrong, they'll be like, hey, remember when you were wrong about that? You see, you're not always right. I wasn't cheating. Like, I know it looked that way, but remember that time? Like, you thought I was doing that and I wasn't, and it was all in your head. And then what happens to us? We're like, gee, damn, that's right. Fuck. Maybe I'm going crazy here. Oh, man. Like, damn. Maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I'm just hypervigilant from my past, right? Whatever trauma I have, I'm just hypervigilant. That's how they get away with it. That's why they keep doing it, because they're like, aha, that's it. That's my lifeline. And they hold on to that, and they just remind you, hey, you can't even trust your own feelings. You can't even trust your intuition. You can't even trust your logic. You're better off listening to me because I tell you the truth, right? And then you're like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to start trusting you more. You might as well bury yourself alive at that point, because they got you. They got you. So in conclusion, no, I don't think that it's worth another shot. I don't think you can coexist in a toxic relationship knowing what you know. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. I can't tell you how to do it. All I can tell you is how to get out, how to build your strength, how to rebuild your self-worth and your self-esteem and your confidence. And I can tell you that it starts with no contact. It starts with no contact so that you're not continuously poisoned and gaslighted by your narcissist abuser. It starts with that. It starts with that. And it starts with trusting your intuition and being okay with being wrong, but at least you went with your gut because your gut is all you have, right? You've been gifted with this intuition. Go with it. If you're wrong, hey, I was wrong. You know what? I got a lot to learn, but at least I went with my gut. You start trusting yourself. There's nothing worse than ignoring your gut or your intuition, and then realizing that you were right and that the warning signs were there and you ignored it, and now you're in deep shit. Now you got a lot of unnecessary problems and trauma that could have been avoided had you just listened to your gut. So that's like my mantra, or just the way I like to live life now. If I have a gut instinct on something, I'm just going to go with it. 9 out of 10 times I'm usually right to the detail. And that one time that I'm wrong, I'm like, hey, you can't win them all, right? But far too many times I ignored it and I paid the price. So I hope this brings you guys much clarity, and I hope you're having the best holiday season ever. Like, I really, if the narcissist is no longer in your life, and I know you're feeling that void, and I know you're feeling all that confusion and trauma, but like this is really a blessing. Like, you're not going to have Christmas with the Grim Reaper anymore. Like, you're free. Like, this could be the best Christmas ever if you make it. If you make it that way, you got to focus on that. If that's what you really want. You're not having Christmas with the Grim Reaper anymore. Doesn't that sound incredible? It's actually going to be Christmas, not Halloween. It's going to be Christmas. So, again, I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like to work directly with me, if you want to schedule a private consultation, I do have a one-on-one coaching program. Just click the link below to go on my website and get more information on that, or shoot me an email at info@psychopathexposure.com. And if you like the video, as always, please subscribe. Click on the bell icon so that you can get notified when I make a new video. Share this video with anybody that you think might help or shed some light. And continue participating in the comments and in the community. It's a growing community. You guys are very strong, very wise. You're starting to wake up. Don't hold back. Share your story. You need that validation because this really happened to you. You got to share your story. So that's it for today, guys. My name is Kita. Thanks for letting me share. And hope to see you guys in the next video. Talk to you soon.